Boar's Head is bringing a slice of Japan to the deli. Introducing Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. Tender, slow-roasted chicken breast, coated in our signature teriyaki glaze, where ginger, garlic, and a hint of brown sugar meet for a flavor that's both sweet and savory. New Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. The bold flavor of Japan. Now at the deli. Only from Boar's Head. Compromise elsewhere.
Blog Talk Radio.
Well, good evening, folks, and thank you for tuning in with me once again to another edition of True Conservative Radio. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost, and once again, I want to thank you for tuning in with me. It's been, I guess, one day or a couple of days since I've been here broadcasting live on the Blog Talk Radio Network. This is an impromptu show, so to speak. It is technically still Sunday night here in the Central Time Zone. I'm located in Texas, for all the folks who don't know. And I decided to go ahead and throw a spontaneous edition of True Conservative Radio because I think that conservative commentary and, hell, rational commentary here in the political scene is due necessary, way necessary at this point in time, at this critical point in American history. And, of course, folks, I put in three particular subject matters that are particularly touchy in this day and age of socialization, communization, liberalization, feminization, pussification, whatever we're going through right now, folks. These are the issues that basically are near and dear, or at least should be near and dear to most true American patriots' hearts out here. Now, I know that we've alluded to this first subject matter, and we're going to go ahead and get right into it. The first subject matter, of course, is the illegal immigrant question. Of course, there's a lot of people out here, and of course, I continue to get emails from a bunch of liberal long hairs and a bunch of feminists, a bunch of idiots that try to throw a humanitarian spin on this whole immigrant notion. But, folks, these illegal immigrants, with all due respect to these folks, I'm sure many of them aren't intending to do what I'm about to suggest they are exactly participating in doing, but they're invading this country, folks. Don't you understand that? They are invading this country, which is your country, America. Now, I don't know if you're one of these, fat, bloated, entitlement check-receiving, Karl Marx worshiping liberal long hairs that are out here, and you could give two rats' asses about who spilt blood for this country, who fought for this country, the true meaning of this country and freedom and the Constitution. But, folks, somebody has to start standing up for it. I know that there's a lot of folks out here that are completely ignorant of anything that's going on around them. I mean, there's still folks out here still purchasing large amounts of materialistic garbage on credit cards, paying 20, 30%. Who the hell knows what they're paying? Folks, this is the last time, or let me phrase it better. You should not be participating in ridiculous activity like that. Now, I'm not going to be an economic advisor out here. I'm not going to be like those ass clowns on CNBC, like that stupid idiot Kramer who talks out both sides of his mouth. And, with all due respect, in my personal opinion, Kramer from CNBC, this is a little footnote from me to that little stupid bastard. 1 minute, 1 year, this idiot's talking bullish. He's bullish on everything, and he's screaming. He's throwing crap around. He's talking about how he's the greatest stock picker ever to grace the presence of the earth and all this other nonsense. And, when I called this economic crash, everybody thought I was loony. And lo and behold, it happened, and now this idiot Kramer is trying to, talk out both sides of his mouth and say, oh, I was always bearish. I was always bearish in suggesting my investment advice. This is ridiculous, and this guy should be thrown off the air. He's a piece of trash, and you can tell him I said that. He's a piece of crap. But anyway, we're going to get back to this illegal immigrant situation, folks, because I think it's a definite, important situation for everyone here in America. And I don't care where you're from, folks, all right? Now, let me redefine what I mean by an illegal immigrant, because these liberals and these feminists will try to twist it on you. They'll try to say, oh, well, you know, we're all immigrants, Ghost. We're all immigrants. That's what we are. So, you know, technically you're an immigrant. You stupid ass clown, all right? My ancestry traces back to the roots of this country, all right? To world wars, civil wars, revolutionary wars. And I'm talking about anybody who participated, whose ancestry participated in the building of this country. Because remember, folks, sure, this country was built on immigrants. People like to talk about that immigration influx at the turn of the 20th century, but don't they ever, they never emphasize that when everybody came in on Ellis Island, they were documented, folks. They came in legally at the time based on the law of the land. You see, that's not what's happening in the current immigrant situation that we currently find ourselves in America. We find ourselves invaded, folks. This is what this is. It's a blatant invasion. And I'm right here on the front lines, folks. I live here in Texas, and I'm witnessing it right before my very eyes. And these folks, with all due respect, maybe they want an economic opportunity, but so do we all, folks. All right, the whole concept of an economic opportunity was built on the blood of Americans. Remember that, folks, and put that through your thick noggins. For all you idiots that are just out there, you know, tickling your ass cracks thinking it's gravy. But, folks, this illegal immigrant situation needs to be solved, but it's not going to be solved in the way that's going to benefit true Americans. And I'm talking about Americans, like I suggested previous in this conversation, that have ancestry that traces back to the basically building of this country before we became a superpower, before we became the bastion of capitalism, before we became the opportunity land, the land of true freedom out here. All of a sudden, in this new America that we're living in, because of this new liberalization, feminization, pussification, whatever you want to call it, immigrants in this country, folks, and if you don't believe me, why don't you go out there and ask a policeman for yourself. An illegal immigrant in this country has more rights than you do, you stupid idiots. And that's what's unfortunate. You know, I look in the news here, you know, and of course I'm just looking at just random news, and what are the top stories here on the national scale? I'm looking at Yahoo News. I actually look at a bunch of news sources, but I just chose them because, you know, there's a lot of people who choose those types of commercial outlets. I'm not promoting that particular venue. I don't like it. I'm not suggesting it. But here we are. I put it on the damn headlines here, and what do we have? We've got The Watchmen conquers the box office with $55.7 million. Oh, that's great, isn't it? In the midst of economic turbulence that we've never seen within our lifetimes, people still have the opportunity to go pay, what is it, $12, $13, $15, whatever in the blue hell it is, to go see a damn movie. How ridiculous. I've already suggested, folks, that these Hollywood actors and these Hollywood stars are threatening here pretty soon to go on strike because of some ridiculous union negotiation. I guess all these millions of dollars that these actors and all these ass clowns that are benefiting off of, you know, everyone else glooming and just gagaing over imaginary scenarios and the power of suggestion, these people want more money. And what I say to that is, Hollywood, get the hell out of here. Go on strike. I tell you, I hate these damn actors. I hate these damn pieces of garbage wannabe little movie stars out here. But lo and behold, folks, when we've got illegal immigrants invading our country, when that should be front and center on everybody's news report, at least on the top news reports out here. What's top on the list? We've got The Watchmen conquers the box office at $55.7 million. Oh, I'm sure everybody is just so enlightened now that, the media, the mainstream media has told us this, all right? Now, what else is top on the list here? Well, the next thing, it's off of the Associated Press, it's the Pennsylvania Liquor Board will teach their workers to be bubbly. Yeah, that's the headline here. So what are they talking about? Well, according to them, it's a really small article, but basically the states, and I'm talking about the state of Pennsylvania's Liquor Control Board, is spending more than $173,000 to make their workers more well-mannered and friendlier in their little 650 stores that it operates. Yeah, they want them to say, oh, thank you, and come again, please, and keep drinking while you're at it. I know that you're in an economic recession. I know you just lost your job. I know that unemployment is through the roof, but thank you very much for spending some money on some alcoholic beverages. Please come back. This is the top story, folks. This is it. And then we wonder why America is folding within us. I mean, look at this, folks. I'm telling you that this illegal immigrant situation, and I know that every liberal and feminist out there is going to try to twist this whole argument that it's a humanitarian situation, that, oh, they're taking the jobs that no American wants. I tell you this right now. At this point in time, as unemployment continues to rise, I guarantee you that any American will take any job at this point in time just to suffice the sustenance that they need to continue on, folks. I guarantee it. So, once again, I want to reemphasize the illegal immigrant situation, because I noticed that in this new administration, and now that the Democrats and the liberals have infested the minds of the American public, to every time they come up on the screen or come up on a public stage, they're crying, for heaven's sake. Have you seen the people at these ridiculous rallies? I mean, good Lord, these people are crying like they just saw the Almighty. Oh man, I need a house. I need my own bathroom. I mean, give me a break, folks. Remember, this government is ours. It's the American people's government. That's what most people just don't seem to understand out here. That's why I continue to come up here and conduct these broadcasts, even though mostly what I get is a bunch of liberal and feminist agitators that either call up to the program and flap their little Millie Mouse, and they sound fruitier than a box of Fruit Loops. They talk all kinds of malarkey, and then they just prank call. But they don't debate me, folks. I have never, and you can look back in that damn archive, I have never had a liberal call up here and attempt to debate me on a civil debating platform. You want to know why, folks? And I am going to continue to say this until it gets through the numbskulls of people that are just sitting on the sidelines out there. Liberals cannot justify what is taking place here in America, and I will continue to say that. They can't justify why it's okay for Octomom to go ahead and shit out 14 children, to go to some ridiculous mad scientist to stick a turkey baster in her meat wallet to get impregnated with 8 children at the same time. The liberals and feminists can't justify that, folks. They can't justify why single-parent families are the majority of the day and why that is a good thing, a positive thing. They can't justify why you've got this liberal and feminist-dominated media just bombarding us with sexual depravity and violence 24 hours a day, desensitizing our children to the point where we're hearing violence, and we're going to continue to see these random acts of violence, of out-of-control, spastic, schizophrenic acts of violence out here, folks. And what I'm speaking of, I'm talking about the pastor. There was a pastor in Maryville, Illinois, who got shot during his Sunday sermon. According to the reports, he deflected most of those shots with his Bible. But some lunatic went in during the Sunday sermon, during the time people are trying to spiritually get away from the turbulence of reality out here. You got lunatic going in there and just going spastic and shooting the poor pastor out here. And what's unfortunate, folks, is you're going to continue to see this, because what are we subjected to on a consistent basis? What are we looking at every time we flip on the television? I mean, this is what I continue to say on a consistent basis, folks. We are constantly, and once again, when we should be talking about the invasion of illegal immigrants, the fact that they are collecting more government subsidies than actual, American citizens out here. They are draining American tax-paying dollars, and they don't even pay taxes, for heaven's sake. They're the ones driving down the integrity of the American labor force. Don't you understand that? They're the ones bringing down the pay. But instead, what are we talking about on the front news here on Yahoo News? And I don't mean to be picking on Yahoo, of course, but what do we have here? We've got, Alex Rodriguez to have hip surgery to miss 6 to 9 weeks. Oh, give me a break. Who gives a crap? That overpaid piece of garbage. We're sitting here, I'm telling you, glorifying these stars, these sports stars, movie stars, rap stars, sitcom stars, comedy stars, all these people when we should be keeping our eye on the ball, folks. And what is the ball? What is the ball here? I'll tell you what the ball is. The ball is America, the Constitution, our freedom, all right? This government was made for the people and by the people, but once again, if the people are not going to participate in this government, well, this is the consequence of those very actions, you idiots. And that's what's unfortunate. People get offensive when I say that the American public sucks. But, folks, the reason I say that is because it's the American public that is willfully and willingly, they're on their knees begging for this ridiculous garbage that we are seeing right before our very eyes. I mean, I just don't understand how these Nimrod people, how stupid do you have to be? And this is why I say the American public sucks, folks. How stupid do you have to be to realize that most of America they're losing their jobs by the thousands. What was it, 600,000 jobs lost last month, something of that nature. I don't know the exact number offhand here. But we're getting just jobs just cut by the hundreds of thousands, and you've got our so-called leaders, the supposed people that we elected to basically conduct business in Washington for our best interest, the American people's best interest. And they have not done that, and they are continuing not to do that. They are instead just blowing money out of thin air. They are selling out our great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren for the sake of paying back cronies that basically help the campaign for the Democrats' dominance in today's government, folks. That's all there is to it. And the Republicans are no saints either, folks. That's why I'm not a Republican. I'm a conservative. I'm a conservative. That's what I am, folks. I am not a Republican. These Republicans are no saints either. They're Republicrats. That's what they are. And they're a bunch of crap, too, if we want to add on something to the end of that. But, folks, before I move on to something else or the next thing on the agenda, I just want to reemphasize, folks, talk to everybody you know, to call your damn congressman. And every time somebody suggests that to you, I know most of you folks, it goes into one ear, comes out the other, but seriously, go out there and call your damn congressman and senator. These idiots are paid to listen to you, even if you're some obnoxious, spastic, imbecilic moron. He has to listen to your grievances, or, if you make enough noise, you can, have some media spotlight put on him for not listening to his constituency. But most of these morons know that all they got to do is pay you lip service and, give you a couple of one-liners, two-liners, maybe, make you comfortable to have a beer with or whatever people are voting for nowadays, and that's all there is to it. Meanwhile, they're selling out the country right from underneath us, folks. And anyone who is suggesting that I'm just, overstating this or hyper-sensational about this whole scenario, take a look. Taxpayer.net, folks. That is an independent group. I'm not promoting that website. The only reason I'm directing traffic to that website, folks, is because it's important. The information that is contained on that website is very important if you want to know where your tax dollars, and I'm talking to everybody out there who's an American worker who gets taxes taken from their checks every time they get their check every week. It's just taken out. That will tell you what these Democrats and these liberals and these Republicans, too, that are okaying these big bills. The only reason that the Republicans are okaying it is because they're getting their cronies in on raiding the tax-paying system, folks. It's disgusting. Taxpayer.net, folks. Go take a look at it. Read it. Read about how $1.7 million is going to study pig odor, and we've got all kinds of millions of dollars going into ridiculous nonsense that is not going to make the economy any better, folks. I mean, if these people, these so-called, because they are implementing a lot of what I feel, in my personal opinion, is Marxist and leftist-style politics and leftist-style legislation. But if we want to argue with the left, all right, if we wanted to play devil's advocate and argue with the left by using the left's ideology, they're not even following through on what the true left wants in this whole agenda of socialism and communism. Here they are, they're claiming to be, I'm a man of the people, or I'm a woman of the people. Who whatever Democrat or liberal is trying to say this, they're saying they're man or woman of the people, and yet they're out here giving their money away to ridiculous nonsense. And the reason they can do that is because they know the American people are not going to look after every single bill that's put on the docket and put through every committee and finally on the floor and signed by the president. All it has to do is have a pretty name on it. Buried in the bill is all kinds of amendments and earmarks and all kinds of nonsense that, the bill's, so damn fat, no American is going to have time to look over every bill out here. And this is how our freedoms, and not only our freedoms, but how America has been taken apart piece by piece, because we've had multinational corporations basically puppeteering this government via campaign funds and lobbyists and that sort of thing. Meanwhile, we've had the means of production shipped out of America. America doesn't produce anything anymore. I hate to re-emphasize this, but this is very important because this goes to show why we are in the situation that we're in. America, for the past at least 5 to 10 years, America has set the unprecedented economic precedent of consuming more than it produces as a country. And you and I know that anybody who consumes more than they produce as an individual, that's just a recipe for financial disaster. And I'm sure that's why a lot of people are voting for Obama at this point, because they believe that somehow Obama is going to wave a magic wand and all of a sudden people's debts and mortgages and, money's going to grow on trees. You got, Tim Geithner, the money elf, passing out money to pay. It didn't work that way, folks. That's not what happened here. We are having an open raid on the American tax-paying system, and you people are allowing it to happen because you believe that this stimulus package check is going to somehow save you from disaster. It's not, folks. All the money that the Democrats have spent up to this point, all the legislation that Obama has signed and the Democrats have passed, you could have taken all that money and distributed out to the American people. Just think about it, folks. I'm not advocating this, but just think about it. You could have just dished it out all to the American people And that would have generated more economy than what the garbage that they have proposed, what the rate of the American tax-paying system that the American people have just witnessed in modern-day society via the names stimulus packages, omnibus bill packages, bailout packages, whatever you want to call it. And it makes me sick, folks. I can't believe that nobody else is talking about it. Once again, we're not talking about how this is a recipe for disaster. But just think about it, folks. I mean, what if the Democrats, instead of blowing all this money, basically allowing, the people that help their campaigns come to power, because that's basically what it is. Truth come to shove, folks, in my opinion, that's why you're seeing all this ridiculous garbage like $1.7 million to study pig odor and that kind of earmark crap on all these stimulus bills and bailout bills. The reason you're seeing it, folks, in my view, I think it's because they have to pay these cronies back, folks. Because if not, I mean, just think about it. If the Democrats were really men and women of the people, they would take the American people, the American people's taxpayers' money, and instead of spending all the trillions, why don't they just give it out to the American people? I mean, just do the math, all right? I don't know the exact math, but just think about all the trillions that are being dispensed right now. And what's unfortunate is that all this money is being dispensed in ridiculous and unbelievable fashion. I mean, I believe that in one of these stimulus bills, the pornography industry even got a cut of this crap. The pornographic industry got a bit of your tax-paying dollars, and you're sitting there not knowing what to do because, first of all, there's not enough jobs out here. The reason there's not enough jobs is because we're a service industry-based economy. We don't produce anything anymore. And then we as American people, and I told you folks, you can go back into the archive. I've been saying this for 2 years. The American people that are laid off from their jobs, they have to go into a workforce and compete with illegal immigrants in this country. And then we all wonder why these jobs are paying less and less. And things are going more and more in price, up in price. I mean, folks, it is no coincidence, and that's why I want to reiterate the illegal immigrant question here, folks. I want you, as an American patriot, as an American citizen, to advocate to your politicians that we need to not give these illegal immigrants amnesty. Because I said it on last show, and I will say it on this show. Mark my words. Barack Obama will propose here within the next, I would say 3, 4, 5 months. They are going to propose an amnesty bill to basically legitimize these illegal immigrants. And that is just going to have a domino effect because, first of all, I'm right here in Texas on the front line seeing what's happening in Mexico. Mexico is just about at a failed state status. They're about to lose their political legitimacy to narcotics traffickers. That's right, folks. So once Obama decides to give these people some, amnesty because they were able to come across the border without getting detected or, whatever the case might be, you're going to have an influx of illegal immigrants trying to come back in so they can get the amnesty also. And, folks, I'm here in Texas. I don't want to see that. So I'm strongly advising you folks, first of all, I want you to find out for yourself. Right now in America, illegal immigrants have more rights in this country than you. And I'm not overstating that. I'm not just pulling that out of my derriere. I want you to go up and ask a police officer right now. And they will tell you that they have to let these morons go. Yeah. I mean, let me tell you something. The next time a police officer comes up to you, don't even have your ID and just start saying, and I guarantee you're going to be let go. They're going to say, oh, he's just a dumbass immigrant. There's nothing we can do about him anyway. It'll just be a revolving door, or he'll be sent back to his country. He can commit murders. He can commit rapes. He can, he can beat people's ass. It doesn't matter. Just let him go. But, you know, in America nowadays, I mean, if a cop or a law enforcement officer even suspects out of a hunch that you're supposedly, you know, conducting nefarious activities or you know, in his mind, you know, he wants to investigate on what you're doing or whatever the case might be, you're going to have to come up with your ID. You know, and if you have an expired ID, well, that's, in some states, justification to take you downtown. Yeah, if you have an expired ID, if you don't have an ID, I mean, it's getting ridiculous out here, folks, but these illegal immigrants, they can walk the face of American soil, and nothing can happen to these idiots. They're going out here, and I want you to look it up. Look it up on your local search engine. Look up illegal immigrant crimes in America. And I want you to be shocked at what's going on here in this country, but yet we have American people sitting on their asses, folks. This is why I continue to say, the American public sucks. The American public sucks, folks. And I'm getting some discourse here in the chat room, and I want to thank those that are listening in on the live stream here. Thank you very much for listening. But Ducat 2 says the media continues to marginalize and demonize anyone who's conservative. You know, and I completely agree with you. But Ducat, you know what's even more unfortunate is now we have these so-called conservatives out here. I don't know if anybody saw this CPAC convention, this circus sideshow that's supposed to be, you know, some sort of rallying base or a rallying party or rallying organization to get out the conservative roar or something. But they, and I hate to get off on the subject here, but you know, somebody here in the chat room live brought this up, so I want to, you know, go ahead and get into deeper detail about how not only the liberal media calling a bunch of conservatives, you know, nut jobs, but you've got conservatives out here. If you witness the CPAC convention, the conservatives are making themselves look like ass clowns. You've got Republicans calling out conservatives. You've got conservatives calling out conservatives. That's why I'm saying, folks, I've been on here for 2 years saying this. I told you so. The liberal and feminization of the Republican Party has implemented itself. It's there. That's all there is to it. And if you want to be a true conservative, and I'm talking about an American who believes in the Constitution, the American way, who doesn't believe that illegal immigrants should have higher citizenship than American citizens, because that's what's happening here today, folks. I guarantee it. Ask a police officer if you do not believe me. All right? An illegal immigrant in this country can go out and do whatever in the hell they want, and they will not serve a life sentence, all right? They'll just be deported, or they'll have to let them go. I'm telling you this, folks. This is not a joke. This is not something I'm just pulling out of my derriere. The illegal immigrant in this country has more rights than you do as an American citizen. And I'm talking about the law-abiding citizens. I'm talking about those who pay their taxes. I'm talking about those who work hard out here. And I'm telling you, folks, please, you spread the word, let everybody know, tell everybody you know, call your congressman, call your senator. I'm telling you this, and I am calling this, folks. And for all you folks that have been listening to me on a consistent basis throughout the couple of years I've been on the air, you know that I am a fairly decent, if I don't say so myself, a political prognosticator. And I guarantee you here within the next 3, 4, 5 months, you're going to have Barack Obama initiating some sort of legislation to give amnesty. Give amnesty to the illegal immigrants that are in this country. And you know who he's going to cite for this? And you want to know why that your Republican leaders, you so-called conservatives that are out there fighting amongst each other like a bunch of jackasses out here at CPAC, you want to know why you're going to fight amongst each other? Because he's going to cite Reagan. That's right. Barack Obama, being the true Mr. Politician that he is, he's going to cite Reagan as a source for his inspiration for his amnesty initiation. I guarantee it, folks. Mark my words. That's why I love the fact that these episodes are time-dated and stamped. Any historian that looks back on the historical record will see that I called these damn things while everybody was tickling their ass cracks. Anyway, folks, we can't give these people amnesty. We have to understand that the federal government needs to do something about this. People say, well, what do we do about it, Ghost? What do? We can't deport people. We can't round them up in buses. We can't cattle prod these people. We can't do anything inhumane of that nature. And I am not suggesting that by any means, believe me. But, folks, why don't we just nip it in the bud on the federal level? Why don't we, as the American citizens, the true American citizens, the veterans, the descendants of people who spilt blood for this country, why don't we force the federal government, since the federal government is trying to force us to do a bunch of other things, and we're going to get to that later on in the program about states' rights. But why don't the American people force the federal government to do something about the immigration issue? And what should they do, folks? And this is a very easy solution. Why don't we just cut federal funding to the cities that provide sanctuary for the illegal immigrants in this country, folks? Because there are cities that provide sanctuary. And what does that mean? That means these illegal immigrants, they can walk freely. They can conduct business. They can get checking accounts and savings accounts. They can get licenses in some parts of the country. They are actually acting as citizens out here, and they are the ones bringing down the cost of labor. If you're out here looking for a job, if you're one of the many thousands that are being laid off every single month, you know what I'm talking about. All of a sudden, wages came down real quick, didn't they? And I called that too, folks. I have always said, and you can look back in the archive, that this illegal immigrant situation was going to cause a serious dent in the economic turbulence that was pending ahead. Because I said that we consumed more than we produced 2 years ago. I said that we degraded the integrity of the American currency 2 years ago. And I told you that all these damn layoffs and everything was going to happen. But what's unfortunate, folks, is that now that you're out here, and most of you folks, there's a lot of white-collar jobs that are being lost. I'm not just saying those on the blue-collar end. There's a lot of blue-collar jobs, but a lot of white-collar. I mean, you've got newspapers all across the country going down the tubes. I read a report somewhere that, 10-15% of the lawyer force across the country is being laid off. I mean, this is what's unfortunate. This is what's unfortunate, folks. And all I'm simply saying is, folks, please, we need to do something about the illegal immigrant situation. We as the people have to force the federal governments that just to stop federal funding to sanctuary cities. I guarantee you cities will not be able to stay afloat if they continue to provide sanctuary for these illegal immigrants. They can't do it anymore, folks. It's illegal, all right? It's illegal because these people are illegal immigrants. Put that in your noggin, all right? Let it wrestle around in there. All right, I believe in anybody who wants to become a nationalized citizen of the United States needs to participate in the bureaucratic process as trivial, as long as whatever it is. They have to do it, folks. There are people waiting in line that are begging for the American dream, but they can't because some dumb immigrant who was able to, hop, skip, and jump across the border or was smuggled in by some coyote or something, they were able to get across here, and lo and behold, they're participating in the downgrading of our American society. And I suggest to you all, folks, force your federal government, call your congressman, call your senator, and force your federal government to stop federal funding to sanctuary cities who provide sanctuary to illegal immigrants. I guarantee it, these cities out here will start law enforcement on these immigrants to either get them off the streets, round them up, deport them, whatever it takes. But, folks, that's the first way to get rid of the problem. All right? You cut federal funding to sanctuary cities who provide safe haven for illegal immigrants. That's one way of cutting the illegal immigrant situation. The second thing we do, we start finding business owners, we start finding CEOs, anybody who's participating in hiring any illegal immigrant. These people are traitors. You understand me, folks? These people are traitors. And I don't care what anybody says. I don't care, they're just trying to make a living, Ghost. That's all they're doing is trying to make a living. They are traitors. That's what they're doing, folks, and I think that they should be prosecuted accordingly. And I am never going to forget, and anybody who happens to own a business, and a small business, and you're employing illegal immigrants, I don't care what your justification is. You are committing treason, and you should be prosecuted, and we should be throwing you in jail for about 10 years, you piece of crap. You're a piece of crap. You're the reason why wages are going down, you moron. I guarantee you cut federal funding to sanctuary cities, you start prosecuting small business owners and CEOs, all of a sudden the illegal immigrant situation will start rectifying itself, folks. But the only way that any of these things are going to happen is if the American people force the federal government. And how are they going to force the federal government? Well, they have to participate in the political process. And how do they do that? Well, call your damn senator, call your congressman, you morons. It's not that damn difficult, all right? Anyway, I spent a lot of time on the illegal immigrant situation because I feel it's important. It's a definite drain on our economy. These people are milking the entitlement system. Believe me, folks, once these people skip across the border, they can participate in obtaining entitlements. If they have 5 or 6 different children from 5 or 6 different fathers, they're collecting the $5,000 a month in government subsidies and entitlements that any other American slutbag who decides to participate in activity is doing. I'm telling you, folks, these people pay no taxes. They're lowering our labor wages, and yet somehow the liberals have spun this into some sort of humanitarian debate of some sort. It's not humanitarian, all right? It's not humanitarian when American people are losing jobs and can't find work because these pieces of crap illegal immigrants are in here lowering the wage standards and taking American jobs. It's ridiculous. It's sick. And this is why we as the American people have to force the federal government to cut funding, cut all federal funding to sanctuary cities who provide safe havens to illegal immigrants, and we need to start prosecuting CEOs and business owners who employ these illegal immigrants, folks. All right? We need to prosecute them as traitors, because that's what they are. Anyway, on to the next subject matter of the program, folks. This is an impromptu edition of True Conservative Radio. We're going to talk about the Second Amendment because, once again, I don't mean to honk my own horn or toot my own horn, but beep, beep. I am a decent political prognosticator for those of you who listen to me on a consistent basis, whether live or in the archive or in podcast. I am calling right now that these Democrats, these liberals, are going to start slowly but surely picking away at the Second Amendment, folks. And this has been the liberals' dream from day one, folks. You saw that stupid, ridiculous feminist bulldyke, Rosie O'Bumble, whatever her fruity name is. She's out here, putting Tom Selleck on the spot here saying, Tom Selleck, do you like guns who kill kids? Is that it? You're for guns who kill kids? I mean, with all due respect, Tom Selleck, you acted like a gentleman, but you were within your moral right to give that woman a backhand because she thinks she's, so tough, she's trying to be a man. Baloney. I thought that was horrific and poor taste. But you see, these are only political sideshow games into alluding to the fact that, we have to get rid of guns because we need to protect you as the American people. That's what they're trying to, that's the whole argument behind the liberal notion of taking away firearms from law-abiding citizens out here. They want to outlaw guns slowly but surely. First, they're going to ban certain types of guns. Then they're going to ban, you can only purchase so many guns a month, so many guns a year, whatever the case might be. Sooner or later, they're going to start, limiting you to nothing but a pea shooter and a rifle, and before you know it, they're going to start, having financial and material incentives to exchange your guns for cash or a damn plasma screen or something of that nature. This is what I'm talking about, folks. The Second Amendment is a constitutional right, folks. I mean, I don't understand why most American people don't take this more serious. I mean, I kind of understand why. We got a feminized and liberalized education system that has dumbed down our children to the point where, I mean, they're complete numbskulls, and they're more worried about top news stories like Watchmen conquers the box office, or, Alex Rodriguez having hip surgery and all this stupid, dumbass crap that we could give two rats' asses about. But these are the subject matters we need to start talking about. I mean, the Constitution, folks, once again, you're within the sound of my voice. Please Google the Constitution, print it out on your damn printer, and put the damn thing in your pocket because it's important. And you need to participate in your government in some fashion. And I don't care what fashion it is, whether it's getting behind a candidate, whether it's starting a new party, whether it's being an independent, whether it's going out there and initiating legislation, whatever the case might be. Remember, folks, wherever you are in your part of the country, you can participate in your government. You don't necessarily have to be some bigwig governor or senator or congressman or something of that nature. I mean, you would be surprised about all the bureaucratic elected appointments out here. You would be surprised at what you can run for, and there's no prerequisite. I mean, in Texas, I can go out and run for sheriff, for Christ's sake. I've never participated in law enforcement, but I can go out and run for sheriff. You know, I mean, I can run for anything except for, I think, attorney general, because you have to be an attorney to do that crap. So if you want to make a change, folks, if you think that you've got the cojones and the testicular fortitude and the knowledge, the know-how, and the will to, help us out of this situation, participate in your government, participate in your local state and federal government, do whatever it takes, folks, because that's the only way that we're going to have any kind of an impact from saving what we know of as the American way, the American idea, capitalism, that sort of thing, folks. I mean, it's unfortunate where we're going. And once again, I want to get back to the Second Amendment notion. Folks, don't allow these liberals to spin this debate about, we got to limit Second Amendment rights. Oh, it's for the children, yes. Oh, we got to save children, and we got to outlaw guns, and we got to do... no, you don't have to do jack, all right? The Second Amendment is that. It's an amendment in the Constitution that the forefathers thought was a very important issue. That's why they made it the Second Amendment, you morons. Don't allow any, I don't care what part of the country you're in. If you actually are in a state that is limiting your gun access and that is limiting you from practicing your Second Amendment right, well, you need to get active in reversing that legislation, folks, and you can do that. That's the thing about being an American citizen, all right? That's how you can participate in being an American citizen. Go out there and reverse that damn legislation of restriction of your practicing of the Second Amendment. Your forefathers accorded you that right, folks. Never in world history has man been accorded rights prior to that document. I'm talking about the rights that accorded to all men. I'm not talking about the Magna Carta, all right, who accorded nobility, certain rights against the monarch. I'm not talking about, because you got all these stupid dumbass professors and these little intellectual, wannabe, pseudo-intellectual ass clowns that are going to say, actually, Ghost, there was something before the Constitution. There was the thing called the Magna Carta, and the Magna Carta accorded... shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Folks, please, all right? Do what you have to do to participate in your Second Amendment rights while we still have it, folks. All right? Go out there. You have every right to protect your home, your property, because, folks, let me tell you, now that we're going to have a more turbulent economic time for a long period of time, I'm not going to say how long that this economic turbulence is going to last us, but it's definitely going to last us longer than we think. You're going to see crime going up the wazoo out here. You're going to see a lot more robbery. You're going to see a lot more burglaries. You're going to see a lot more malarkey of this nature. And with all due respect, I think you need to practice your Second Amendment rights so you can protect your home, you can protect your family, and you can protect your property, folks. Because that's what separates America from everywhere else in the world today, is that we can own property. All right? And if we can't properly own property, all right, if we can't own property and be safe, then that jeopardizes the whole concept of America as we know it. We will be no different than what Mexico was before it became this failed state that's about to be taken over by narcotics traffickers. All right? I mean, sooner or later, folks, I guarantee you, as the economic turbulence continues, we are going to see crime rates going up. You're going to see robbers and burglars, folks, and you need to be prepared. So I am telling you this right now. It is within your constitutional right to protect your family, to protect your homes. It's your Second Amendment right, and I want you to participate in it, folks. Don't let these liberal longhairs say, oh, it's bad to own a gun, oh, taboo, oh, bad, bad you. Shut your mouth. You need to participate in that Second Amendment, folks, all right? You know, you need to participate in that Second Amendment, and that's all there is to it. I'm sick of these damn liberals trying to justify outlawing the guns. Folks, you outlaw the guns, the only people that'll have the guns are the outlaws, you ass clowns. Don't you understand that? I mean, this is why, unfortunately, the American public has turned into dog crap. I mean, the American public sucks, folks. They've been infested with liberalism. And they're enjoying it. They're eating it up like it's a damn cheeseburger. You know, with bacon and, you know, cheese and extra tomato or some crap. Folks, participate in your Second Amendment right. Don't let these liberals take it away. And that's all I'm saying, folks. That's all I'm saying. I know they're going to try through incremental legislation and, well, you can only buy 2 guns a month, okay? We have to limit the legislation. 2 guns a month? Are you kidding me? All right? Are you kidding me? I mean, a man is within his constitutionally protected right to accumulate however many guns as he sees fit, folks. What are we in Russia now? What is this, Stalinism or something? It's ridiculous. Don't let these liberals do it, folks. Don't let them do it. That's all I'm saying. And I'm gonna drop the Second Amendment issue because it should go without saying. But folks, we're going to see legislation hidden in amendments, hidden in earmarks that is going to help limit the Second Amendment rights of the American people, and don't let them do it. And if you let them do it, you're nothing but a damn coward. You're a piece of trash. You might as well go ahead and put a picture of Karl Marx on your fireplace because you're an idiot. All right? Anyway, I wanted to get into a subject matter that I would like the people who are listening in live to participate in if you happen to have an opinion. 646-652-4869 is the number to call if you want to participate. I'm going to talk a little bit about states' rights. And the reason I'm talking about states' rights is because here in Texas we are having a lot of state legislators, state representatives that are asserting bills right now. And I'm not going to name the bills, and I don't want to name the people initiating these pieces of legislation because, you know, they all have political ambitions, and, you know, I'm sure that it's no coincidence that these people are initiating these pieces of legislation, and we're getting so close to the governor's race. But the point is that they're initiating legislation to assert our 10th and 11th Amendment rights out here in the Constitution. And what is that? That's states' rights, folks, states' rights. States' rights over the federal government. Remember that, folks. All right? Remember, the state has rights here. That's why when you go from state to state, laws are different. Taxes are different. All right? You know, some states might charge more taxes for their alcohol. Others might not. You know, others might not charge that much at all. Same with the tobacco. Same with everything, folks. It's the states' rights. Well, folks, I think that if you dissect the legislation that's being initiated by this liberal, left-wing, long-haired hippie administration, or regime is what we should call it, we are seeing that the federal government is starting to step its nose in the American people's business to the point where they are stepping over states' rights, folks. And I just want people's opinion on it, because right now we've got state representatives here in Texas that are actually initiating legislation to reassert states' rights. So basically, if this legislation is pulled through and goes all the way through, down into the governor and he signs it, what's going to happen is if the federal government does something that is against the state's law, or goes against the state's word, that Texas is not going to abide by it. It's the state's rights. We don't want this. We don't want the federal government dealing in whatever or forcing the state to do whatever. So this piece of legislation is just going to reassert the 10th and 11th Amendments in the Constitution to the state of Texas, and I think it's a pretty clever piece of legislation. Now, what's unfortunate is that I don't think it's going to see the time of day. I think it's going to be crushed in committee, or I don't know if it's already been crushed in committee, but there's been several attempts at doing this, and I think that states' rights, folks, as American people, is very important. I don't know, there's a lot of ass clowns out there that probably don't even know that states' rights even existed. All right? I don't even understand that. But, folks, we need to reassert the states' rights, all right? I mean, I'm from Texas. We're independent-minded folks out here. And it's good to know that there are Texas legislators that are actually, although, like I said, they could have other political ambitions. These politicians are all scumbags, and that's why I'm not naming the politicians that have initiated this legislation. But I'm sure if you wanted to find them out, you could. And I'm hearing in the chat room that there are other states that have already done this. And hooray for those states. All right, because we need to reassert states' rights, folks. I mean, the federal government doesn't tell everybody what to do. The state still has its own entity, its own jurisdiction. I mean, it's what creates its own laws. It's its own jurisdiction. The only thing the federal government does is supposed to make the whole bureaucracy of distributing the federal government, or the taxpayers' money, I should say, a little bit more easier through the bureaucratic channels of delegating authority out here. But you know what? Nobody really understands that. Nobody really understands that, the states are the ones who are basically at the ground level. They're the ones who live there, you morons. I mean, I'm trying to put it in simple terms out here, because remember, the American people are very stupid. I mean, have you seen today's advertising? I mean, I was sitting here watching the boob tube, and lo and behold, I have two pigs talking to me, telling me that they're eating ham or something. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, this is ridiculous, folks. This is how stupid that all these damn corporations and everybody thinks we are. It's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And you see, the American people, and folks, that's why I'm so jaded. That's why sometimes I skip broadcast. That's why sometimes when people expect a broadcast from me, I don't pull one off, because, folks, it gets just disheartening when you see the transition of what we knew of as America into something quasi-communist socialist, and you have people begging for more. They're begging for it. They're like, please, give me another stimulus package check, please. Not knowing that this time around, when they get their little stimulus package check, they're going to have to claim it on their taxes at the end of the year. I bet you most ass clowns don't know that, so you all be careful with that. If I were you, I would just put that stimulus package check aside and cash it at the end of the year and just pay the damn taxes off, and whatever's left over at the end, well, good luck. All right? Give me a break. Anyway, folks, 646-652-4869. I want your opinion, folks. I want your opinion. Do you want the federal government just telling your state what to do, what it can't do, what it can't do? Give me a break, folks. This is not America, all right? I'm talking about American people, all right? And this all has to correlate with maintaining the integrity of America, getting rid of illegal immigrants, saving the Second Amendment rights, reasserting states' rights in the American government. I want your opinion, all right? 646-652-4869 out here. Anyway, as I wait for some calls here, I'm going to, go ahead and go over the news. Like I said, most of the news is a bunch of, ridiculous malarkey. But I wanted to go over something that I did find here really funny. We have a Austin, Texas family out here in Texas. They are actually putting themselves for sale on eBay, all right? The moron who's the head of this family, his name is Lauren Guerra. This stupid maniac is actually putting him, his wife, his kids for sale on eBay. Now, what in the blue hell does that mean? Well, he's pimping them out, folks. He's saying, hey, if you want us to wear a T-shirt, if you want us to print something on our heads, if you whatever he's asking for. This is ridiculous. This is the epitome of what I'm talking about, folks. And we're approaching the second hour of true conservative radio. All right, and I appreciate everybody's patronage here. I am your host, the man they call Ghost. Right now, we've somehow segued into this ridiculous family out here in Austin, Texas, that is putting themselves for sale on eBay. I guess, I know I'm being critical of Lauren Guerra, who's the head of this family, who was actually on the early show with Chan. I forgot her first name. Julie Chan, I think her name is. He was sitting here trying to justify that, I'm going to put my family up for sale here on eBay, and, if we have to help, wear T-shirts or something, but we're not going to do anything, with the adult industry or the tobacco industry or the alcohol industry, so that gives me justification to pimp out my family like disposable road trash. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, it's just unbelievable. Now, look, I'm not questioning that. Give me a break. Somebody here in the chat room is saying, hey, it's a free market. You should be able to sell your family. Is this what it's coming to, folks? Are we literally selling ourselves out here because we're so anesthetized with this idea that the liberal and feminist media have asserted in our heads? I just think it's ridiculous. I think it's sad. I think, and if you watch the interview, folks, and I strongly advise you after the show to go look this up on some search engine or something, but look for the eBay family for sale, Austin, Texas or something. You're going to find the video of the early show interview. And the kid, during the interview, actually calls his dad crazy. The kid I don't know how old, maybe 4, 5, 6 years old or something. Very young kid, looked like an old charming kid. And he literally, during the live taping, said, yeah, it's a crazy idea or something of that nature. And I just couldn't believe it, folks. But, hey, this is the new America that we're living in, so I guess if you want to whore your family out like disposable road trash, I guess there's a market for that now. It's just unbelievably obscene what Americans are doing out here. I guess the argument could be made that I guess it's better than that one, moron who was going to lose his house and his cars, and he was going to lose everything, so he decided to kill his family, his wife, then himself. I guess it's better than doing that. But still, folks, I think it's along the same lines in some regard. At some point, folks, we need to just understand that maybe life isn't all about materialism. Maybe life isn't all about, I need to get the latest iPhone and I need to get the latest $4,000 plasma screen TV. Maybe it's not about that, folks, and this is why I have asserted on here many times on many different shows, and by the way, folks, this is the 91st show. We're counting down. After this, there's 9 more shows to go before there's 100, but I have advocated on this show many times that we need to just, take a couple of steps back and start understanding that Family is the true essence of humanity, folks. And that's why I am a foot soldier, not only for the American family, but for the world family. I think it's important for the world to emphasize a family. And I'm talking about a man and a woman raising children. You know, I mean, it's really ridiculous. But you see, folks, now people are so anesthetized with some ridiculous Hollywood-embedded dream that life is supposed to be something that Hollywood suggests that it should be. And lo and behold, we've got people selling their families on eBay, folks. I mean, this is how sick our society has become, folks. All right? I mean, give me a break. And lo and behold, you know, somebody here in the chat room here just put the link up saying that they just kicked those people off. Well, you know, I'm not saying that eBay should have kicked them off. I'm just saying it's the whole notion of it is just sick. It's horrible. I mean, you know, what's next? You know, I mean, here I'm going to sell my baby in the womb or something. I mean, you know, we're already borderline that process with Octomom. Speaking of which, you know, for all those who want to continue to keep up with this dish rag whore Octomom, let me tell you something. Octomom and her publicist just recently had a breakup this week. Aw, isn't that sad? Aw, poor Octomom. She doesn't have a publicist anymore. I think that's her 12th or whatever the hell it is. And according to the publicist, you know, he or she said that, you know, she's crazy. She's nuts. Yeah, you stupid moron. I mean, have you looked at the stupid broad's face? She has mangled herself up in an attempt to look like Angelina Jolie. It is obvious, you stupid broad. All right? I mean, she's trying to say, I don't know. It's just a coincidence. You stupid idiot. Shut up. And lo and behold, you know, she went to some damn clinic or some mad scientist who impregnated her with 8 children at the same time. This is a genetic freak show family. And who is taking care of all these children, folks? You are. Your tax-paying dollars. But you see, folks, this is what I've always said. You can look back in that damn archive if you don't believe me. I have always said that this was the agenda of the liberals and the feminists. This was the agenda, you ass clowns. They wanted to trivialize marriage. They want to emphasize single-parent families. They want to equate woman liberation to shitting out 14 children and being single. All right, that's woman liberation now. It's woman liberation to hop from penis to penis to penis and be some sexually promiscuous slut bag. That's woman liberation. I mean, if you don't believe me, take a look at the way that Hollywood is projecting the new woman. Huh? Look at Desperate Housewives, Sex in the City. Huh? You know, I mean, these broads are being passed around like a damn charity case, for heaven's sake. I mean, it's just ridiculous. And I know that people in the chat room, they're saying, we already know Octomom is nuts. Well, folks, there are actually people that are emailing me. I kid you not. They are emailing me trying to say that, oh, I can't believe you're talking about that poor girl that way. How can you talk to her that way? Are you kidding me? I mean, you know, these people actually have sympathy for this lunatic that should be committed or should be thrown in some sort of institution. She should be in a straitjacket and should be bound to a damn cot somewhere in some loony bin, in some rubber room, for heaven's sake. All right? I mean, but you have people that are emailing me up actually having sympathy for this lunatic. And they're getting mad at me for being critical about a single mother, 33 years old, lives with her mammy, 2-bedroom home, with 14 children. All right? 14 children. And yet, who's paying for these children? You are. And I think it was a couple of shows ago, we heard the infamous Octomom 911 call when she threatened to kill herself on the damn 911 tape. And yet somehow that's not justification for, Child Protective Services in California to go in there and take away this genetic freak show. But you see, folks, this is woman liberation. This is the feminist movement. This is the new socially engineered family that the liberals and feminists tried to push through, and it seems like they are successful in doing via Hollywood, via the liberal and feminist education system, via the judicial system, and via this ridiculous and sick and demented and twisted entitlement system. We actually have an entitlement system that makes baby making big business, folks. I mean, don't you understand? I challenge you to go look into your job market. Now, I know there's a lot of feminists that are going to use this next piece of commentary as some sort of justification as me being some sort of a chauvinist or lizard or a snake or something of that nature. But, folks, I challenge you to go out there and research the employment sector out there in your local community. I'm sure there's high unemployment rates. And if you're gainfully employed, congratulations. Make sure that job security is going to be there for at least the next 10 years. But go out there and research jobs out here. As a matter of fact, go out to retail stores or wherever you happen to, participate in conducting or purchasing services or purchasing products, and look at the worker base out there. And most of the worker base out here are female. All right? Now, out here in Texas, like I said, if you go below Austin, all right, if you happen to want to visit Texas at some point and you want to go south of Austin, I'd strongly advise you not to do it. Unless you're going to pass through and try to go to South Padre Island and, participate in some partying or something out there, well, that's your prerogative. But if you're going to go to San Antonio or Corpus or the Valley, do not do it. It is the colon, folks, the colon of America. And I'm seeing it firsthand. I mean, it's at its worst out here. We actually have women out here that are shitting out 5 or 6 kids from 5 or 6 different fathers, and I'm saying it, folks. I know there's a lot of people finding it difficult to believe, and when this Octomom crap came out, I was glad to see that they were highlighting all the damn entitlements that this dish rag whore was getting, because you actually have women in this society that are out here collecting $5,000 plus, depending on how many children they have, in government subsidies. And that's everything combined, folks. That's housing. That's free housing or supplemented housing or some crap. That's a food card or the food stamps. That's welfare money. That's medical care. That's free child care, free education. I mean, I can go on and on and on. All right? I mean, what's unfortunate, folks, is that not only are they getting these $5,000 in government subsidies, they get to play the child support lottery, huh? Oh, yeah, I mean, they can get a separate monthly check from every single father that they bared a child to. That's right. That's why you're seeing this big epidemic of women having 5 or 6 kids, 5 or 6 different fathers, because it is economically beneficial to do so. So they have, let's say they have 5 children. That's 5 separate monthly child support payments. And let's say that most of them are a bunch of losers. They can only pay bare minimum, so like 3 of them can only pay, out here in Texas, the minimum you can pay, from what I understand, is $200 a month. So that's 2, 4, 6. That's an extra $600 off 3 kids. And let's say, she hits the jackpot on the last 2, and these guys are hard-working guys. They're generating $4,000, $3,000 to $4,000 a month. This dish rag whore can legitimately get $800 to $1,000 a month from these gentlemen if she pursued it in court. So just do the math in your head, folks. All right, just do the math in your head, and that's why you are seeing women mostly in the job force out here. I'm not saying in all parts of the country, but out here in Texas, folks, you're going to see more and more women employed because they are the ones that can afford to work for minimum wage. that's why, I mean, you combine the immigrants, you combine the situation that who can, I mean, haven't you noticed also that most people are only hiring for part-time work, folks? I mean, I own a small business, folks. I mean, a lot of people come up to me, and unfortunately, I've had a loyal group of individuals who I have employed for a long period of time, and you know, when you're a small business owner and you see how hard people work for you, you tend to grow a certain attachment to these people and loyalty, and vice versa. But you know, I have people coming to my places of establishment and saying, "Oh, everybody's only hiring part-time. I'm looking for a full-time job. Everybody's hiring part-time." Well, why do you think people are hiring part-time, folks? Well, they don't have to pay anybody health insurance. They don't have to pay anybody benefits. And at the same time, it looks like they're employing more people than they actually are, you know? That's right. They have to put more paperwork out for more employees. If they have a line of nothing but a bunch of part-time employees, not only do they not have to pay them all the benefits and all the health care and all that other nonsense, but lo and behold, they look good on paper for hiring all these employees and providing employment for America, which is nonsense, folks. So who can afford to work part-time, all right? I mean, you know, I mean, you know, who can afford to work part-time at minimum wage or maybe a little bit above that? Well, the same women that are out here collecting the government subsidies, folks, and the child support and anything else they can mooch off of this feminist and liberal system that we, as the American people, sitting on our thumbs, have established. And this is why I call on you as the American people, to do something about this, because you can. You can participate in your government, folks. Well, how do you participate? Well, go out there and organize, all right? Once again, you know, if there's something that you really hold near and dear to your heart as an issue, if you're strongly passionate about a subject matter, look for a group of people that believe as strongly as you do about that subject matter, all right? If there's already an existing group, go out there and join them. If there isn't one, go ahead and create one. Organize. Try to get as many people as you can in your group out there, and try to go out there and confront some of these politicians that are in office and say, look, if you don't start initiating legislation that is going to benefit our community, if you are not going to somehow make a stink about how the American people are getting the shaft and that the illegal immigrant in this country gets more rights than the everyday American citizen, well, then we're going to unelect you out of office. But it takes, emphasis on your part, the American people. This government was made for the people and by the people. But if the people fall asleep at the wheel, folks, this is what happens. And it's a damn shame what has happened, hasn't it? It's a damn shame. Anyway, folks, please, I'm going to take this time to go out there and urge you all to add to your favorites or bookmark the True Conservative blog. It's at ghostpolitics.blogspot.com. Please check it out. I actually recently posted a bunch of YouTube videos of yours truly. People are out here now trying to take some of the broadcasts that I've conducted and trying to create funny YouTube videos about it, which I really don't appreciate, which is really pissing me off, if you want my personal opinion. I really don't appreciate all these idiots out here taking the time and energy to be little computer nerds, and they're out here, formulating little YouTube videos about True Conservative Radio, trying to mock yours truly, trying to mock my political persuasion. I really don't appreciate it, folks. And I'd like for those of you, and I'm sure that those of you that are doing this are avid listeners to this program. So I'm talking to you, you stupid Karl Marx piece of worship and Gloria Steinem crap, all right? I'm talking to you. Stop doing these ridiculous YouTube videos. I don't appreciate it. I mean, when I conduct these broadcasts, I conduct them on a serious manner. I'm talking to the American people, the true American patriots out there. I'm talking to you. We need to come up out of the shell, and we need to bring back America again. Don't you understand that? We need to bring back America again. Stop sitting on your ass. Anyway, folks, 646-652-4869. We've got a caller here. Hopefully this isn't a prank caller, because we do have liberal agitators on a consistent basis who call up and try to be cute and say, "Oh, I'm gonna get a little prank call in, and I'm gonna feel so cool." Yeah, shut your mouth. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and take this call. 1111, you're on the air.
Hello, yes, this is poor Weinstein. I called you, I think,
Shut up and get off the phone. You sound like a damn liberal long hair who's about to do a damn prank call once again. I really don't appreciate it. All right, well, what we need here is we need true American patriots, all right, to call up and start understanding that we need to participate in this government, folks. Please, by all means, spread the word about true conservative radio, folks, all right? We need to talk about the discussions that, the discourse that we had this evening about getting rid of illegal immigrants, saving the Second Amendment, states' rights, conservative commentary for American patriots, for people who believe in the Constitution. So I call on you, please, help promote the true conservative radio show by going out to the damn blogs, by going out to the damn forums, by going out to the damn chat rooms and letting everybody know that true conservative radio is here. And if the American people want to save their country, if the American people want to participate in their government, if the American people want commentary that's going to hit them in the face and slap them back into reality, well, true conservative radio is here to do that. And that's why I continue to do these broadcasts, folks, and I appreciate your patronage. Whether you listen to me live or in the archive, I really do appreciate it, folks. This is why I conduct these broadcasts, is for you. I mean, for all the hate mail and the death threats and all the malarkey that's sent to yours truly, the reason I continue to conduct these broadcasts is for the true conservative folks, to the folks out there who understand where I'm coming from, who understand that we need to start saving America instead of sitting on our asses and thinking that everything's just going to go away. It's not going to go away. It's not going to go away, you idiots. Let me tell you how bad it's getting out here. We got Detroit, the old Detroit, Motown, Detroit Rock City, Motor City, Detroit now is, being, speculated by foreign investors from all over the world, because now homes are selling for as low as $1. All right, out there. I'm serious. This is not a joke. I'm sure you've heard it if you, maybe watch some of the mainstream boob tube media outlets. But the Detroit foreclosed homes is drawing speculators from all over the world because of the cheap, the cheap prices out there. I mean, there's some homes that are $1, but there's at least 1,800 homes for under $10,000, and you got foreign speculators where. What's unfortunate is that it's not American speculators, It's not American people buying it, because American people are suffering out here. So once again, we don't even have American people able to, help rebound the real estate situation in Detroit. We've got people from all over the world. And I strongly advise you to read about this story. Read about the Detroit housing situation and how housing and some houses are selling as low as $1. It's a bad situation out there, and we got foreign speculators that may be the new landlords of people that are attempting to move to Detroit. So you might have to pay some stupid limey. You may have to pay some, who the hell knows who you have to pay, but it's ridiculous. It should be American people investing in American properties, but why don't you see American people? Because, unfortunately, the American people are suffering. They're suffering because we spent more than we earned, folks. I mean, we consumed more than we produced. It's pretty sad, folks. You know, I like I said, I get jaded here. I get jaded when I attempt to do these shows because look at what we've become as a country, as a people. We've become so decadent and so materialistic and so worried about maintaining the integrity of our debts, maintaining the integrity of our so-called dream lifestyles, which aren't even paid for yet, that we're willing to sell our families on eBay, that we're out here willing to get impregnated like, some genetic freak show with 14 children. I mean, this is what we've turned into, folks. We need to start believing in America again. I can't re-emphasize. I can't keep repeating it, for heaven's sake. I just don't understand it, folks. I don't know where we are going, where we're headed. But all I can strongly advise you to do, folks, is to please participate in your government. Now, before I get into something else, I was alluding to the CPAC convention, the Conservative Political Action, whatever the crap they call it, which, was a real sideshow. It was really a circus sideshow, folks. I mean, you had a clash of ideologies out there. It was ridiculous. They even brought in some snot-nosed 14-year-old kid. I don't know if you've been hearing about this new supposed mouthpiece of the Conservative Party. I mean, it's some stupid little, snot-nosed little 14-year-old little brat. They prop him up on a stage out here, and this stupid brat, sounds like Bobby Jindal on a bad speech after Obama's, supposed makeshift speech to the nation and the Congress out here. You got this 14-year-old kid that's supposed to shed some sort of new light, new ideas to the damn conservative movement? I mean, this is how ridiculous this crap has turned out to be, that a 14-year-old snot-nosed little brat can get up on a stage out here and people are like, yeah, that's a conservative. Shut your mouth. Give me a break. This is how ridiculous we're getting out here. You got Michael Steele putting his foot in his mouth. All right? I mean, we got, some stupid 14-year-old snot-nosed little kid that's being highlighted all over the liberal media. And let me tell you, the liberal media is plastering this stupid brat all over the place, throwing it in the faces of damn conservatives that were actually taking some stupid, imbecilic 14-year-old little idiot kid serious. I mean, what are we going back to the French days? I mean, this is what the French did with the King Louis situation. Yeah, there was 14 or 15 King Louis, for heaven's sake. I think it was 14, but, I mean, do you understand that at one point the French monarch had to worship a 3-year-old King Louis? I mean, that's how ridiculous that we're getting at here. They had to worship a baby. That's a stupid, we're going backwards, for heaven's sake. I mean, good Lord. 646-652-4869. And, I know that there's people out there that are saying, oh, well, he's a kid, Ghost. You shouldn't talk that way about a kid. Are you kidding me? They put him in front of the CPAC convention. He actually spoke. He was a speaker, for heaven's sake. I mean, this kid was trying to outline conservative ideology. It was ridiculous. Good Lord. But here we go. This is the new America that we're living in, isn't it? Oh, good Lord. Anyway, folks, I'm sorry. I'm just flustered after just thinking about that. I mean, I saw that damn CPAC, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up in one of your nearest media search engines and look up. I don't even know what the stupid brat's name is. Even if I did, I don't even want to say it because, it's just ridiculous. It's stupid. But look up this stupid brat, I mean, it's ridiculous, all right? It's absurd. Anyway, folks, 646-652-4869. I'm going to go ahead and go on with the news here, and if you have anything that you want to suggest, if there's any commentary that's kind of, bit you in the ass and you're not too happy about it, well, by all means, give me a call. Grow yourself a pair. Give me a call and tell me what's on your mind, all right? Anyway, right off the hot wire here, we've got North Korea threatening war if satellite is shot down, all right? Let me just go into the first paragraph of the story here. I think it's an interesting story because I basically called at the beginning of this year. I politically prognosticated the beginning of World War III, at the end of this year. And I'm not saying that to be a hyper-sensationalist, but I talked about all the political turbulence all over the world, and one of which that I highlighted in that show. It's actually the first show of this year, so if you want to listen to that show, go back to the archive. But North Korea is threatening war if satellite is shot down. North Korea ordered its armed forces on standby and warned Monday that it would retaliate against anyone seeking to block its planned satellite launch, which many fear will disguise as a missile test. Because they're trying to achieve ballistic missiles. What's unfortunate is that, we can't allow this rogue nation, North Korea, to have these types of nuclear weapons. I mean, with all due respect to old Kim Jong-il, you're a damn lunatic, all right? You stupid moron. First of all, what's up with your hair? Second of all, take the damn glasses off. Who the hell you think you are, Ike Turner? And now they're threatening war. North Korea's threatening war, and once again, folks, not only did I highlight the North Korea-South Korea situation, I also highlighted the Pakistani-Indian situation. I think that's very turbulent. I think that people need to really pay attention with that. I think we need to pay attention to the situations that are unraveling out here in the old Soviet bloc, so to speak. In some of the old Soviet countries that the Russians are kind of trying to slowly but surely take back into their possession. I think we need to look highly at the Middle East situation. We got, Netanyahu, I guess, claiming victory, and Netanyahu is very adamant about not letting the Iranian government obtain materials for a nuclear weapon. So, folks, these are turbulent times out here, and it's up to you as an American citizen how America is going to participate in the unraveling of all this international turbulence. And if you're just going to sit on your thumb and not, think about it or not talk about it or not read about it, well, then, as a result, you may be the first one on the front lines out here when World War III hits the fan. Because I guarantee you, all right, I guarantee you that when this happens, we're going to see we're going to see all kinds of drafts. We're going to see people being called to action out here. With all due respect, and once again, I've got somebody being facetious in the chat room saying the start of World War III is going to end this year. That's good information. I guess I'll start on that bomb shelter. Look, I'm not trying to be some hyper-sensationalist here. Just look at the international turbulence, all right? I mean, I just went through, let's go over it again, since, maybe you need a repetition. The American public are imbeciles out here. They need things repeated to them. Let's go over it again. Right now, right off the hot wire, off the news wire, North Korea is threatening war if anyone decides to shoot down their supposed satellite that they're going to launch into space or some crap, which many believe is just disguised, it's just a disguise for a missile test. All right? And North Korea said, it's war, it's on if you shoot it down. And I guarantee you we're not going to let them shoot that missile. That is a ballistic missile test. And if they have the ability to shoot missiles in an accurate fashion, that jeopardizes the national security of America. Because remember, North Korea has already maintained the materials to formulate at least the beginnings of a nuclear weapon. So, I mean, this is serious stuff. You've got Pakistan and India, already nuclear powers, folks. both of these entities are already nuclear powers, and they're on the brink of war. I mean, there's pop shots left and right on that particular battlefield. So, I mean, the situation over there is very, very sticky to the point where one more terrorist attack on either side could set off the whole region out there. And then you got the situation in the Middle East, and Netanyahu, all right? Netanyahu's out here already threatening the Iranians, threatening everybody out here, saying that the Iranians can't get a nuclear weapon. And, hey, I'm not saying I disagree, but, why don't you just, keep what you're thinking to yourself, you moron, with all due respect, Netanyahu, you stupid idiot. I mean, that's not how you conduct foreign policy, all right? And right off the bat, you're already threatening destabilization in the region, you stupid idiot. But you see, folks, and I can tell you more problems in other regions of the world, but you basically compile all the turbulence in the international community, and the recipe for World War III at the end of this year is not only possible but highly likely. And that's why I made that prediction. And folks, you can look back in the archives. Everything I predicted has come to pass. I called this economic crash 2 years ago, and you can look back in the archive, folks. People were calling me crazy. People were calling up my show saying that I was just stirring the pot, that I was lying, that I'm a moron, that the American economy is strong and it's going to last forever. You had Republicans and Democrats calling me at the time. And lo and behold, what happened? The economic situation has gotten so turbulent that it doesn't look like it's going to bounce back for many, many years. And I'm not hyper-sensationalizing that. I'm not trying to be a fearmonger. I'm just being realistic. All right, that's all I'm being. Realistic, you morons. Anyway, recently we were all basically embracing the lowering of the barrel of oil. I think at one point here recently it got as low as $35 a barrel or something of that nature. Well, lo and behold, the barrel of oil is rising. It's at $46, and OPEC is, trying to consider the idea of cutting production on global oil supplies. So, folks, go ahead and try to invest in a full tank of gas before tomorrow's trading, because I believe that just the notion of OPEC cutting production on barrels of oil is just going to feed our already hungry market, folks. I mean, right now we're looking at a Dow Jones that is at 6,626.94. which is a gain of 32 points from last day's trading. I guarantee you, now that OPEC is trying to eyeball cutting production, we're going to see a rise in gas prices. Now, this is the last thing that we need, all right? The last thing that we need is oil production going up the wazoo and gas prices going up in price. Because, unfortunately, Americans weren't smart enough to basically get a place of residence, a house, an apartment, by where they worked. And I never understood this epidemic, but there's people all over the country that, get a job in one part of town and live like 30, 40 miles in the opposite direction. And we don't need another hit in gas prices. Now, once again, folks, this is something that we could all solve. It's a very simple solution out here. But nobody participates in their government, and nobody holds their politicians accountable, and nobody gives a crap. That's why I say that the American public sucks. Now, you see, folks, like I said, if you happen to be up early tomorrow morning, please go get yourself a full tank of gas, because the price of oil is going to raise. I'm telling you this right now, all right? I mean, this is good business advice right now. If you want to go get if you want to get some oil futures, I'm not telling you that you should do that. This is my opinion, okay? I don't want anybody saying, I'm investing in this. Hey, just look at it right off the hot wire. This is a little over an hour and 5 minutes ago. Oil rises above $46 as investors eye OPEC cuts. And, of course, folks, OPEC, for all you idiots that don't know, OPEC is the cartel, which is comprised of all the Arabic countries who control all the oil in the world. And they basically dictate the oil market based on how much money they feel like they want to make, you know. When they feel like, oh, man, there's a lot of retention in, consumption, they'll go ahead and start overproducing to bring down the price of oil. But recently, folks, people have just stopped driving in general. And not only have people have stopped driving in general, it's artificially, or not really artificially, I mean, the markets took its course. I mean, it's drove the price of oil down to the point where OPEC had to, overproduce so that people can start getting adjusted to driving again. And once we start getting adjusted to driving again at about $1.50 or $1.75 or $2 gasoline, lo and behold, OPEC is going to cut production, by however many barrels here. Let me see if we can get the exact barrel. We don't have it here in the report, but they're eyeing cuts. And once they cut production, lo and behold, the damn oil prices rises because they've cut production. Now, how do you stop this, folks? How can you stop these damn Arab oil-producing cartels from dictating American policy and the price of gasoline? Well, we are in Iraq, aren't we not? I mean, I just don't understand why we went into Iraq if we're not going to force this Iraqi governing body, this makeshift parliament that we brought to power when we went in there and overthrew Saddam Hussein. Why isn't the American government forcing the Iraqi parliament to give us the oil, and we'll just knock it off their tab that they already owe us, folks? These people need to pay us back from all the debt that we have incurred liberating their country. Why isn't the American government forcing these people to just give us the oil? I mean, do you understand what that would do to the oil market on the international scale? I mean, do you understand that these damn Arab countries, who most of them promote terror anyway, if you want truth be told, in my view, I mean, they all are out here on the cool, throwing a couple of bucks to Taliban and, whoever the hell else they want to go away from their countries, because remember, they rule with authoritarianism. All right, I mean, the modern-day Arabic regimes, they're mostly monarchs. I don't know if you know that, folks. I've alluded to this 2 years ago. The reason that they're monarchs is because this is the remnants of the Treaty of Versailles, which was basically the restructuring of the Arabic states post-World War I after the Ottoman Empire was overthrown. Just a history lesson for you idiots that are wondering why in the blue hell we've got the Saudi royal family, the United Arab Emirates, and all this supposed royalty, all these supposed monarchs. There's no monarchs in that culture. The whole concept of kings and queens didn't come from that culture. No, it was propped up. It was put together by the Treaty of Versailles, by the deals dealt by Lawrence of Arabia. I mean, seriously, folks, this is why you have all these ridiculous royal families, these ridiculous Arabic countries that are out here in charge of the oil, dictating to us what the price of oil is going to be. And I think it's malarkey. And that's another thing that I have strongly advocated to everybody who listens to this program. The least you could do is go out there and force your politician to tell this Iraqi parliament, this makeshift governing body, to either start paying the American people back, because, folks, we dedicated not only a lot of money but a lot of lives out there. And a lot of people left some of their bodies out there, folks. We cannot let those people just go by the wayside. We can't do to them what the American people did to the Vietnam vets back in the day. We can't let that happen. So at the very minimum, what the American government can do is force this makeshift Iraqi parliament to either give us the oil and we'll just start cutting it off their tab, slowly but surely. And let me tell you something, OPEC would shake in their stupid turbans if they thought that we were going to do something like that. I tell you this right now, it would throw the damn price of oil into a complete downfall. I mean, the Arab countries would be shaking in their boots. They wouldn't know what the hell to do. But we're not doing that, are we? No, instead we're allowing Arabic countries that were, just propped up wannabe monarchs. These people, there's no historical monarchism that, accords these people the right to be royalty in their country, folks. They were propped up post-Treaty of Versailles, folks. This is the remnants of the Ottoman Empire. So I'm telling you, folks, this is why we need to start having these kinds of discussions. We need to have these kinds of broadcasts. This is why I call on you folks. Please spread the word about True Conservative Radio. All right, everybody you know, whether it's live or in the archive, tell people to download it via podcast. Do whatever it takes, because we need to have these discussions. And we need to relay these types of discussions. Everything that we're discussing on this program here, you go out there and talk to somebody else about it. It's only necessary. We have to do it, you idiot. I'm sorry, folks. I'm not calling you an idiot personally. I'm just saying, when did you ever think that we'd be in this position? Think about it right now. When do you think in your wildest dreams that we'd be in the position that we're currently in right now? You would have never thought that, would you? But now we're currently in it, folks. We're currently in it, and it doesn't seem like it's really going to get any better. We've got basically the American government just spending out the wazoo. It's really unfortunate. And I wish that there's some bright lining at the end of this dark rainbow, but there is not, folks. The only way that there is going to be any kind of remedy to the situation is if the American people start participating in this government and holding these politicians accountable. We don't need politicians. We need statesmen, folks. We need people that are going to conduct themselves properly and in the favor of their constituency, in the favor of the people who elected them. We don't need lobbyists. We don't need multinational corporations. We don't need other third parties to puppeteer these stupid morons in power. All right? What we need is we need people to hold these damn power-hungry autocrats accountable. And if they don't, and if they aren't accountable, well, by God, we need to unelect these people out of office. And I strongly urge you, folks, don't vote on a party this time around. These coming elections, don't vote on a party. If there's an independent party, if there are other candidates on the ballot, research those candidates. Look up those candidates and take every single vote serious, every one. From your school board to your city government to your judges to the state representatives to the federal representatives, senators, every single vote serious, and look up all these people, because it's your duty. Because this was a government made for the people and by the people, but the people need to be well informed, the people need to participate in their government, and we need to start holding these damn politicians accountable. We need to start holding them accountable. And we've got people in here talking about the California and Southwest immigrant situation. Info Dude, we talked about that earlier this evening. All right, we talked about that earlier this evening. You know how we get rid of illegal immigrants? Just to reiterate this, folks, because this is a definite serious situation that we need to relay to our supposed politicians, and we need to relay it to our friends and family and anybody else that we can influence into believing that these illegal immigrants are invading our country. This is an invasion. And like I said in the last show, I dare you and about a couple of million of your close friends decide to leave the United States and sneak your way into whatever country and see if that country doesn't call you an invader. You're damn right they'll call you an invader. This is an invasion, folks. And the only way that we're going to get rid of the illegal immigrants is that we hold these elected officials accountable. And I've already said, folks, Barack Obama here in the next 4 to 5 months is going to call on legislation to give these illegal immigrants amnesty. I'm telling you this right now. He's going to do it. and he's going to cite Ronald Reagan for justification for the Republicans to justify it too. And you know what? They're going to do it. And folks, you, as an American person, as an American citizen who has ancestry in this country, or if you've spilt blood for this country, you can't let it happen. You can't let it happen, folks. So what do? We got to force this federal government, folks. The American people have to force the federal government to cut federal funding to sanctuary cities who provide safe haven for illegal immigrants. Just cut the federal funding. Just get rid of them. And I guarantee you, once the city officials and the cops and everybody don't get paid, they're going to start rounding up those illegal immigrants and kicking them the hell out of their country, or kicking them the hell out of their city, or deporting them, excuse me. One or the other. Second thing you need to do is you need to prosecute CEOs, you need to prosecute business owners that are participating in this treasonous activity of hiring illegal immigrants, folks. They are traitors, all of them. They're all traitors. Any business owner that hires illegal immigrants, folks, they should be prosecuted and be thrown in jail. Throw away the damn key for at least about 10 years. All right? That's all there is to it. These people are traitors. In the midst of economic turmoil, in the midst of people losing jobs by the thousands, in the midst of government spending gone amok, in the midst of the open raid on the tax-paying system, we've got illegal immigrants in this country that are not only allowed safe haven, that are not only allowed to work in this country and degrade the cost of labor for other Americans, but they get to participate in the entitlement system that this liberal and feminist idea has asserted for our citizens. These people are participating in the entitlement system, and they don't even pay taxes. Do you understand how ridiculous this sounds? Don't you understand that right now in America, an illegal immigrant has more rights than you? Don't you understand that? An illegal immigrant has more rights than you. And we've got to change that, folks. We built this country. Our people, the American people. It doesn't matter what race you are. You know if you're an American. You know what the American way is. We need to go back to that. We need to go back to the American way. So, folks, I strongly advise you, if you know businesses that are hiring illegal immigrants, if you know businesses that are participating in this treasonous activity, I call on you to take action. I call on you to take action. And what are you going to do? Well, you need to highlight these people. You need to put them on websites. You need to put them on forums, on blogs, on chats. You need to highlight these companies and say, hey, these people are traitors. Don't do business with them. They hire illegal immigrants. We need to make the climate so uncomfortable for not only illegal immigrants, but the people who hire these individuals. We need to make the environment so uncomfortable that they'll want to go back to their countries of origin where they belong. And that's all there is to it, folks. You need to do it as an American citizen. I guarantee you, I'm not just saying this out of my derriere. Illegal immigrants have more rights in this country than you. An illegal immigrant can go rape somebody, can go kill somebody, can get into a drunk driving accident. Do you think that they're going to be sent for 20 years in prison? No, they're not, folks. Look it up. Look it up. Go to your nearest search engine and look at illegal immigrant crime in America and see what happens to these illegal immigrants. They're set free. They're just deported. They go down to the border here. Get out of there. On delay. And they're given a kick in the ass, and that's it. After murder, after rape, after any of those heinous crimes. Folks, this is a serious issue. And I had been saying it from day one. We have to do something about this. We cannot allow this president to give these people amnesty. This is what he's going to do here in the next 4 to 5 months, and I guarantee he's going to do it. We can't let them do it, folks, and we can't allow our politicians to be duped into this crap. Because if we allow amnesty for these illegal immigrants, we are going to lose the integrity of America itself. we are going to lose the American way. We're going to lose the idea of what we all strived for when we were sold that American dream. We're going to lose that opportunity, folks. This is going to become the land of handouts, not the land of opportunity. Don't you understand that? And I'm right here on the front lines. I'm in Texas, folks. I'm seeing what's happening in Mexico. Mexico is almost a failed state, folks. We're seeing violence on the Juarez, El Paso border, the Nuevo Laredo border. I mean, all across the Texas border with Mexico, we're seeing all kinds of violence that's almost stemming into our side because of all these drug cartels trying to battle for position on who's going to be the big man in charge of everything out here. And we've got a whole influx of refugees trying to leave that situation. We got a whole bunch of people coming in here illegally, and we got a border patrol agency that is so overwhelmed that there's nothing they can do about it. I mean, you know, for every couple of hundred that they catch, a couple of thousand go by. Folks, we need to do something, all right? We need to protect our borders. We need to get rid of these illegal immigrants, and I don't care where you're from, folks. I don't care where you're from. I'm not just talking about Mexican people. I don't care where you're from. I don't care if you're an English tea-drinking immigrant. I don't care if you're a German sauerkraut piece of crap. I don't care if you're a damn, Irish whiskey-drinking drunkard. I don't care if you're a turban-wearing Arabian. I don't care what you are. If you're not a nationalized citizen or a naturalized citizen or an American citizen, get the hell out of the country. All right? Get out and don't look back. And that's all there is to it. And anybody who's calling me, oh, I can't believe you're saying that, Ghost, piss off, all right? Piss off, because if you're going to take an immigrant over an American, then you, my friend, or hell with my friend, my enemy, my adversary, you are a traitor just as much as the people that are out here hiring these illegal immigrants. So please, folks, if you know businesses that are out there hiring these illegal immigrants, expose them, put them on the net, highlight them, put YouTube videos about these pieces of crap, because this is important. Anybody who, after they're exposed for hiring illegal immigrants, and people who are customers of these particular businesses that do this ridiculous treasonous activity, they are just as guilty as those that hired the illegal immigrants, folks. So please, I strongly advise you to participate in your government. Go out there, voice your opinion, run for office. Folks, there are so many offices in the bureaucratic system of government. Go out there and run for one. There is no prerequisite. Go out there and run for any office available, folks, and go out there and help this country. It's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to all of us if we want to take back what we knew of as America and implement the American dream and understand that America was not about handouts. It was about opportunity. But we need you, folks. We need you to go out there and participate in this government. We need you to go out there and be active in your community. We need you to go out there and expose the businesses that are out here participating in this treasonous activity of hiring illegal immigrants. We need you to go out there and emphasize to this liberal and feminist regime that's in office that you're not going to take away the Second Amendment. You're not going to give the illegal immigrants amnesty. And you're going to continue to maintain the integrity of states' rights and not allow your authoritarian roots that is liberalism and feminism to assert itself over our states' rights. This is America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, and I'm calling on all American patriots that are out there that love this country, go out and do something about it. Stop sitting on your ass. Stop sitting on the sidelines and get on the front line, folks. Get out there and do something. Get out there and do something, folks. We need you. We need all of you. Spread the word about True Conservative Radio to everybody you know. Bookmark or add to your favorites the website, blogtalkradio.com/ghost. Spread it out there like wildfire, folks, because we need all of you to participate if we're going to take our country back, because if we don't this time around, folks, All right? If you heed the warning and if you deny the call to action, then you're going to watch the destruction of what we knew of as America. And it will be your fault. Nobody else's fault. There's nobody else to blame but yourself. So anyway, folks, thank you very much for listening to me. Please bookmark or add to your favorites the webpage, blogtalkradio.com/ghost. Please bookmark the True Conservative blog at ghostpolitics.blogspot.com. And please support True Conservative Radio by patronizing the sponsors, folks. Please, we need your support. That's what keeps me, afloat, or keeps the BTR people from censoring me. It keeps them from trying to give me too much hassle because, I'm too loud, I'm too vulgar, I'm too this, I'm too that. Hey, as long as you keep patronizing the sponsors, folks, I am here to stay. I need your help. Spread the word. I love every true American patriot that's out there doing whatever they can for this country. I respect you, I honor you, and I thank you. Once again, folks, thank you very much for tuning in with me. Until next time, folks, I am going to have a show. I don't know if I'm going to have one tomorrow night, but keep up to date with me. I broadcast Monday through Friday between the hours of 11:30 p.m. to 1 o'clock a.m. Central Time. Folks, bookmark all the websites, and please patronize the sponsors, folks. That's all you got to do to help out True Conservative Radio. If you do nothing else, don't be a lazy bastard and patronize those sponsors. We need your help, folks. Thank you very much. Until next time, folks, long live the True Conservative movement, and death to feminism. Please patronize those sponsors, folks. We need your help. Thank you.
A Napa guy knows the only way you'd give a freshly minted driver a brand new car is if he promises to never drive it. Instead, let him grind the gears and knock over the neighbor's mailbox in something a little more suited to his skill level. And with over 400,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, he can safely drive something that's nearly as old as he is. It's not perfect, but it's perfect for him. That's Napa know-how.